No hesitation, no doubts.
That's it?
That's it.
I got it.
And now a word from
Ron and Fez.
Ron! Fez! Ron and Fez! Hey! I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Paul's really great. Paul's great.
Buddies.
Buddies, it's the Ron and Fez show. I'm Ron, there's Fez.
Hiya, buddies. And welcome to Monday and a brand new week of the Ron and Fez show.
You had a lovely weekend, Fez, I take it, with Stalker Patty, your house guest?
No, I didn't have a lovely weekend. I had Stalker Patty as my house guest.
Is there anything you want to tell us? Any long-term plans, or?
My long-term plans are to move, change my address, my phone number, and hope she can't find me.
I got news for you. Fezzy brings Stalker Patty over to my house for dinner the other night, and I swear they seem like a couple.
I didn't sit anywhere near her. I just needed to tag up with somebody. Please, take some of the punishment for a moment.
To me, you look like two of those elderly women whose husbands had passed away.
The Snoop sisters
Yeah.
showed up for dinner.
So you were just sitting there arguing over little things, and I got to say this, I think she came pretty close to out-eating you at the dinner table.
I took it over the weekend. She doesn't eat much, or often at least.
Yeah, she doesn't eat often because she does eat much.
Oh, my goodness. I took her to breakfast, 29 dinered her.
Ooh, I bet you did. Breakfast in the morning.
And, oh, my gosh, she wolfed that down, bought her a pretzel at the Lincoln Memorial. That disappeared.
You just go on and on about Stalker Patty. It's interesting.
Just her voracious appetite. Now, 50 gay and lesbian couples celebrated the U.S. Senate's defeat of the federal marriage amendment by exchanging vows Sunday in Colorado.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
Now, does this just drive the president nutso?
Well, the president has to look down at this and say to himself, he's let God down once again. That's the problem with that. He wants to do it for Jesus and can't seem to get it done. We must look just crazy to him that we don't care one way or the other whether gay people get married.
Not only doesn't it pass, then it just goes the complete opposite of the way he really wanted it to go.
Every time it rains, he must think it's not going to stop. He just thinks this is it. He's going to bring the rains down, and I better build a quick ark.
I think more than just driving him nuts, I think it really scares him. He is the type that thinks, oh, my gosh, they're going to come for me and make me kiss a boy.
Some of the complaints that they, bring up about, children born out of wedlock, I don't see how gay marriages are going to get involved with that. And if they wonder how many sexual partners gay people have, because that's another thing that they're always throwing out there. Wouldn't a gay marriage maybe slow that down a little bit?
It would take out at least 50% that we know of.
Well, unless they have a Clinton gay marriage, then they do whatever they want to do. So I know the only part of that really made me laugh is I know deep in his heart the president is a fundamentalist and the rest of us really don't get it.
Or care. The sad thing, when you mention the arguments like out-of-wedlock kids, then there's always the people that go to, fine, we'll start marrying dogs then.
Yeah, that's always, this is a slippery slope. Well, can you marry a badger? And then you always have to say to them, no, we'll pretty much leave it at human beings, adult human beings.
Unless it's a consenting badger.
And then they try to do the gimmick of, homosexuality doesn't happen in nature. And then there's always that scientist who pops up. Well, I got to disagree with you there. Dolphins are really, really gay.
You can tell just from their voices.
And giraffes, I don't even want to get started on. I don't know what those long necks are for, Fezzy.
Senator Robert Byrd said John Kerry can win West Virginia if he goes there and just gets some coal dust on his hands and face.
Yeah, but make sure you take that off before you go into the South Chicago on the next leg of that whole trip.
So the 5 electoral votes, is it worth going in there and just putting coal dust on your face?
Yes, 5 electoral votes are worth. They'll both put coal dust on their face for those 5 electoral votes. I saw Senator Byrd over the weekend. I guess it was on Meet the Press, and he was just lighting the president up. And it's this little old guy, not in my 12 terms. I go all the way back to Truman, and I've never seen a president like this.
Just ashamed of everyone. And then he's the guy who'll go, I can't imagine what the founders are thinking. And he knows because he was there with the founders.
Yeah.
He knows what Jefferson would be thinking.
Be fair. He was with the founders' kids. Be very, very fair with that. When the founders were very old when Byrd came along. But you look at this thing, Fezzi, some of the things that he brought up is the same things that we say. The president will not talk with anyone who disagrees with him. He never wants to stand up and debate the other side. He really only likes cheering people and people wearing camouflage.
Yeah, they asked Senator Byrd, is he really this bad? And he goes, he won't answer a question. And that just got the old guy started from there.
Yeah, and I forget what the name of the book is. I think it's Bad Stuff About Bush or something along those lines. But it's really weird what a cottage industry this has come into. I was into a bookstore over the weekend, and there's just a whole section of anti-Bush books. Like, literally, if you write one up, they'll press it, and you'll be an author all of a sudden.
Yeah, they come out faster than reality shows.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 a week that are coming out. And it's basically, bushwhacked, down with Bush, forgetting Bush. And I don't know whether it's because of just everybody copying off Al Franken or Michael Moore, or whether he really has it going to him. But I was amazed. We may even want to go over and have one of the interns go to a bookstore one day and just count the number of anti-Bush books.
Senator Byrd was hysterical because he had his book with him, and anytime he got asked a question, he would hold it up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the consummate salesman. He knew he was on camera, and he'd go, well, this book happens to answer the question.
Yeah, there's a groundbreaking new book. Let me see. Here it is.
Baby steps.
Baby steps away from the president.
Yeah, so we'll do a quick quiz here. Who did Robert Byrd call a dangerous leader in a dangerous time? Was it A, Muammar Gaddafi, B, North Korea's Kim Jong-il, or C, President George W. Bush, Ronnie?
Don't tell me.
Yeah, George W.
So he's the dangerous leader in dangerous times.
Yeah, and arrogant and every other mean name you could. I think this book, I haven't read it, obviously, but I think it's just one-word sentences of mean adjectives about the president.
A, ass. B,
Bush, Jr.
Just goes through the whole thing. Well, now I got a half a mind to read the book, Fez. I got a half a mind just to pick it up because I've never seen an elderly person that upset.
Yeah, the book will read a lot faster than he speaks, so we'll be all set there. A new CBS New York Times poll shows that 51% majority of Americans feel we should have stayed out of Iraq.
So now we're over to 51%.
It finally reached the majority in this poll. Last December, the war was supported more than 2-1.
And Fezzi, I remember you were one of them. You were waving your flag. You were going to the Cleared Channel. Let's win this war. Big parties they were throwing.
Yeah, I was all red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Now I'm just black and blue.
Now you feel like you've been beat up.
I feel just totally bruised and totally lied to. And, with the 9/11 commissions and the stuff that has come out, and the fact that their findings and that this administration keeps pushing these arguments that have been proven false.
Well, what I love, over the weekend that we found out who the real culprit was, it's Iran. And we've got to do something about Iran.
Iran was giving free passage from Afghanistan into Iran for like 10 of the actual 9/11 hijackers.
And then they have nukes, so we've got to do something about it. So, this is how close we came. And you got to at least give the president some credit on this. He had the IRA part of it perfectly. He got his Q and N mixed up. It happens. Now let's stop fighting over who did what and who shot who. Let's pull together as a country and let's storm Iran while we have the opportunity.
We can't storm Iran. the actual haven. We can't storm them now.
I'm ready to storm. Let's go.
Don't do it, Ronnie. I went down that path before. Don't do it again.
So you don't think that Iran are the bad guys?
Iran are the bad guys, but now we're out of soldiers.
What we can't do is wait for the UN. That's the last thing we can do. We're in huge trouble here unless we get those Iranis.
Iceland was lucky they weren't attacked.
Yeah, they came close.
As they're throwing a dart at the international phone book.
Well, you know, if this thing in Iraq would have went as smooth as the administration wanted it to go, and as smooth as the media thought it was going, I think we'd be heading to Iran right now. The problem is like instead of being called another Vietnam, the way Iraq is, Iran would be called another Iraq. And it's just too fresh.
It would be like having two Vietnams at once. It would be very weird.
Yeah, it would be like a cross-eyed Vietnam. Well, Fezzi, we got a live gig coming up we want to tell everybody about. It's going to be in August.
That's right. It's going to be at Dave & Buster's. We return to Dave & Buster's in Bethesda, Maryland. For the second annual pool party, we'll be having a pool tournament.
We want to see who can shoot the stick. We'll have to get the name of the guy who won last year. It went right down to the wire. A lot of drama. We'll be doing the pool tournament. We're also going to have some hypnosis going on stage that night, Fez.
With Don Friedman from HypnoticTouch.com. He's the guy who saved me.
He saved you. Not only does he do it in the way that he helped you with therapeutic type stuff, he does a big, funny, crazy stage act. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's coming very, very soon.
August 12th. That's a Thursday night. August 12th at Dave & Buster's in Bethesda.
So if also we're going to look for guys, I guess we need to get to Jafter. We'll probably have to talk to Jafter before we even take people who want to shoot pool. But if you shoot pool or you got a friend who could shoot some decent stick, stay close to your radio and be ready to sign up for this pool tournament. We're going to take a break. Back in just a couple moments. It's the Ron and Fez Show.